now we are officially on live. So hello and welcome. We are here with Alina Vandenberghe, who is the co-CEO and co-founder of Chili Piper, a company that was valued at $1 billion in 2022 and has actually been with many high reputable companies as for clients. So thank you so much for being on with me, Alina, and excited to have you.
Thank you, Jordan, for inviting me. I've never been on a live on Instagram. It's my first time, so I'm excited about first times today.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, again, like I was telling you behind the scenes, it's my first time being with somebody of like such high caliber and somebody who oh no, can you still hear me? Tell me the audio is still good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Perfect. And yeah, so I just wanted to start just from the beginning, and if you could just tell me a little bit about your background and about how you started from working and being a computer scientist all the way to starting up Chili Piper.
All right, so I'm in New York today, and in Brooklyn actually. You might all see my office in the background. I was born in Romania, and my parents were factory workers, and for some reason I decided to take upon myself entrepreneurship around the age of 8. I started doing all sorts of odd jobs. I fell in love with computers. I did a master in computer science, came to US in 2007, started climbing the corporate ladder, realized that the corporate ladder was killing my soul, decided to start my own company in 2016 with my husband, who's my co-founder, and the rest is history.
No. Sorry, just making sure I'm still reconnected.
I hear you.
Isn't an issue with my end.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. I just made sure the internet's not an issue with my end.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry. So I did get disconnected on the part where you were mentioning that you were climbing the corporate ladder was very much killing your soul, and starting off with Chili Piper.
I decided in 2016 to start my own company with my husband, who was my co-founder, and yeah, they're saying that the rest is history.
Perfect. And what was was there one particular point or one particular triggering moment that made you want to start Chili Piper, or was this just an accumulation of moments? And what even sparked the initial idea for Chili Piper?
For sure, it was accumulation. My husband kept telling me that we should start a company together, and I kept resisting and resisting and resisting. I didn't think that I had it in me to start my own company. I didn't know that I had all it takes, but he believed in us, and he had started companies before, and he saw the potential of us kind of building upon one another, and he gave me the courage to do it. We sold our house, we sold everything that we got just to start this company. We didn't pay ourselves a salary for the first 3 years. It was brutal, but we came to the other side.
And we have a lot of entrepreneurs also who watch these live streams and who are on the lives. And I think it also takes a different personality too, to have that entrepreneur spirit. Were you always like that as a kid, or again, was this something that you were just thrown into, and was it a lot of also your husband's support too, helping you out?
Sí. Dale, perfecto. Oye, me voy. Dale, y hoy también te tengo la plata. Ya de cómo te ve. Dale, perfecto, no te preocupes.
I see we keep getting interrupted. I wonder if I should move devices or something. You can still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, but I just wanted to double check and make sure this isn't an issue on my end. And let me connect to my cellular.
It's always fun doing lives, isn't it?
Yeah, Usually life should go flawless, but sometimes there's always a tricky part to it. So let me put the personal hotspot.
If not, I'm getting ready to go on my phone also.
No worries. Let me try cellular.
In the meantime, I see that it does. In the meantime, I see that it does work. I see you, and I heard your last question is how did I find out that I have the personality to build a company? Was that the question, Jordan?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's usually not that simple to have that personality. People are usually born with it, or at least they have a lot of support.
I do notice that it does take some sort of independent thinker kind of personality where you feel a lot less need to fit in, and as a result, because you don't need to fit in, you have the courage to show up with unusual ideas and that kind of independent thinker mentality, and that I've had ever since I can remember, gave me the courage to always go against the grain without fearing of being removed from the tribe per se. So I agree with you that it does take a certain personality trait, and it's not for everybody.
But also, when you were starting off your, when you were starting to get your initial clients, I was watching a podcast too that you were on, that you were doing a lot of field work as well. As in, you were going to these events, and then when you were at these events, you had to speak with people, and you were also trying to get your first few clients by using LinkedIn. Which one did you find like the most difficult? Which one did you like actually going into the fieldwork and doing fieldwork on LinkedIn? Sorry, fieldwork.
And in real life, no, it was completely terrifying to me. When I started my company, I had a very typical tech founder personality where I would avoid eye contact at all costs and hide in a corner. It was like very out of my shell to feel comfortable in going out and asking people questions, but my curiosity was had a lot more energy behind it than my fear of these kind of big groups. So it was the curiosity that drove me. I was digging into their problems, digging into what I could solve for them, and making sure that the problems that I was solving for would be the kind that they would pay ahead of time, to make sure that I have an actual business before I would start building things. So that's how I managed to break through my fear.
And the biggest thing that you're known for, even the reason that I found you as well, was because of your impressive reputation on LinkedIn. So what was the initial spark also that got you to start doing LinkedIn, and how does your creative process go anytime that you're creating a post on LinkedIn?
So the LinkedIn presence is actually relatively new. So we started the company 9 years ago, and I only started being present on LinkedIn 2 years ago. So initially our pipeline would not come from social, it would come from word of mouth mainly. Obviously we would have our sales team, we would have marketing motions just as like everybody else, yet the word of mouth has always been like a strong driver for us, and it's only relatively new that half of our pipeline is influenced by my LinkedIn posts. It's an ever-evolving process. I think I learn a lot every day about the channel and how to make sure that there's impact there, but I'm learning every day.
And you have a few posts that did fairly well, and your conversations also with people on LinkedIn are pretty active. I wrote a post about you, and you replied within a few hours of the post being published. How do you find the distinction of creating content on LinkedIn and find kind of that barrier of creating content on LinkedIn versus also
the engagement?
And how do you set boundaries?
I sent you a Notion doc before we started, and I wrote about that piece in my Notion doc, and I actually spend only 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn, even though it might appear that I do a lot more. And I only do it from my phone. I don't log in through my desktop because I find it extremely distracting. So yeah, all of it just 30 minutes a day.
The sorry, I was taking a look here too at one of the posts that you sent me over in Notion, and you're very vulnerable and you're very transparent with a lot of the content that you create. One of the posts that I really liked was that it was just 2 days ago, and I found out about confidence in yourself and how you had also been on like the brinks of bankruptcy a few times with creating this company. How do you, for the entrepreneurs who are also watching, how do you find that motivation also to like keep bouncing back every time that you have a very intense failure and also publish it on LinkedIn? It must be very daunting.
I do publish all my inner demons on LinkedIn, every struggle most of my mental struggles and challenges. And the reason why I do is because when I post on LinkedIn, I have a very specific persona in mind. It's myself a few years back. And I feel like I know myself very well to know what kind of lessons I would like to receive from the future. And I write with no fluff. I don't try to bullshit. I don't want to use AI to just for the purpose of creating content. It's really like letters to my older self, my younger self. And I pick the things that are more transformational for me to write about. So that's what gives me the courage to post about the challenges. And as for the bouncing back, I think it just comes from my lived experience as a child. I grew up through poverty, through a revolution with bullets above my head and some other difficult situations. And I know that if I was able to push myself back from those situations, like the corporate challenges are nothing compared to life and death situations. So it's a childhood that gave me resilience.
Yeah. That's amazing. You also mentioned too in one of your posts that, like you mentioned, you like to write to your younger self and you like to get the advice or say the advice that you at least at your younger self would listen to. If you were even saying like one piece of advice, one single piece of advice to your younger self, even when you were starting off this company or when you were starting off your career, what would that be like?
I wish I could have trusted myself more. I wish I would have had more confidence to lean into my vulnerabilities and my gaps and be open about them to people around me so that I can get support. But it was very difficult at the beginning because I had a lot of insecurities and I wasn't sure at any moment in time if I was enough. And I wish I could just like, you are enough. That's what I wish I could have told myself.
Yeah, it's really hard too because a lot of times we also like get inside of our heads, thinking that what we're doing, what we're creating, it's not enough, and we also compare ourselves with other people that are online.
That's the worst. I'm sorry, just one parenthesis on that. I teach my children to not look at other kids in their class or anyone else, to just compare themselves with themselves yesterday. Because it's such a never-ending race if we compare ourselves with others. So difficult.
Yeah, one of the posts too that you sent me, I had a quick chance to review it before the call, but on the Notion board, I think I scraped this one out, that you sent a post of, I think you were raising VC money one time while you were pregnant, and then you were signing the one of the forms of your company when you were like going to give birth. And then you wrote another post saying that, this isn't necessarily supposed to be like you can do everything all at once, and sometimes you're like on calls and you just came back with like a bag of lice in your hands. And the person that we see a lot of times on social media is very, very different from who we actually see represented in real life. And it's great that you're using LinkedIn to embody that platform and to embody the transparency. Did you ever think that you would get a lot of negative feedback for having these transparencies, even since there's like VCs or since you have like a bigger audience? Is it ever?
When I posted that, I signed our VC term sheet in the delivery room, and it was actually a few hours before I gave birth. My goal was to show that we have a lot of resilience inside of us, even when the world feels upside down. And then after I wrote it, I realized, oh shit, I'm promoting a very inappropriate things for women, because the women, they already put a lot of pressure on themselves, and me showing like, oh, look at me, I'm able to give birth and sign a VC term and then like all of these things, and I said, oh my gosh, what did I do? So I took my post and I said, I made a blunder. I create this pressure for a woman who already have a hard time between all the things that they have to do. And yes, I do get a lot of, I do get some negative comments. I also ended up on Reddit, on like LinkedIn Lunatics, and yet I'm grateful for any kind of feedback that I get, even if it's negative, because I'm learning what triggers people and kind of what emotional states people are in. And my content kind of refines from that, and I learn to show up in ways that could be helpful for others. So at the beginning, I was destroyed by this type of content, and now I just see them as a learning opportunity that I work with my therapist around.
Yeah, because putting yourself as a public persona in any matter, I think it's like breeding grounds for any criticisms, and you get like the best of the best, but you also get the worst of the worst.
Very much so.
Is that something also that you find a lot of CEOs and a lot of founders that stops them or impedes them from wanting to post any social content?
Yeah, most CEOs are terrified by it, and I don't know that it's a fear of that much of judgment that they may get from others. It's just not something that we've normalized for CEOs to show up with flaws, and even in front of their teams, they feel uncomfortable about talking about their shortcomings and the type of thing that they struggle with, because there's an expectation from their shareholder, from their board, and from everybody else around them that they have everything under control and everything is like all thought through. But the reality is that most of the times we have to make decisions with very limited data. Most of the times we have limited capacities, and it's just not realistic that we have this person in mind that's perfect. And my goal is to normalize that, because there's an opportunity there for employees to contribute and take ownership over things as well, in together with the CEO. And kind of, if the CEO admits to faults, then the employees feel a lot more comfortable in speaking out and like bringing things that they would not feel comfortable, and that kind of safety that happens in organization once a leader admits to their flaws. It's something that has worked well for us, and I think that it's worth exploring for most people.
And even, correct me if I'm wrong with this one, but I was taking a look too, and I read somewhere that you were also encouraging employees to be posting on LinkedIn. Is that correct? And how about are you going doing that? And is there any pushback from employees as well?
Some employees feel more comfortable with creating a brand for themselves on social, and they understand the pros that come with that, because even if they leave Chili Piper, then they can use their personal brand for so many reasons. I would say that not everybody feels so comfortable with that kind of personal exposure. There are other ways in which you can show up online without having to show up with your flaws or your struggles, or like I do. There are different styles and different strategies for different people. What we've always encouraged our employees is to be true to who they are and represent themselves as they see themselves fit. So we've been encouraging, but we didn't make it mandatory. So for instance, one thing that we do is we put calendar blocks in their for them to post with some samples and some examples of things that we might be launching that month or something of this nature. but we always encourage them to write it in their own tone and only if they feel comfortable, and only if they feel that it can help their audience. And we also have like an internal Slack channel where we post our learnings and we teach each other to do better. So those are the type of things that we do.
That's awesome. There's a lot of opportunities that you can also get with these two. And like you mentioned too, just before, that there's some like really positive and really negatives. But you also mentioned, or I was telling you on LinkedIn, that you are invited to a lot of speaking opportunities and you get recognized too a lot when you're on the streets. What are the best experiences that you've experienced when you've been getting your brand out there and when you've been getting actually fighters and out there?
I really did not expect that I would get invited to so many events. Literally, today I'm invited to at least 3 different ones, and because it's Tech Week. Last week it was super difficult for me because I had an invitation for a Beyonce concert and also a product launch for a friend, and it was like, oh shit, am I a good friend? Am I good to myself? Am I which of one of my needs do I satisfy? So it was like very difficult, but it's a beautiful luxury to have, to pick between your friend and Beyonce. So it's fascinating what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And now speaking a little bit more in terms of the product too. I know that AI is like a big buzzword, and a lot of people, especially if you post about AI and knowing the future about AI, it grabs a lot of attention from people. That's kind of a lot of what our audience is interested in. In your opinion, now that you've worked with large enterprise companies, how do you see the future of AI developing, and how do you see it also being implemented into Chile?
At the beginning, I was quite terrified by it because I could see that the models are getting extremely good at so many things. And like I was telling you earlier, we compare ourselves, and when we see AI getting so much getting so much in-depth knowledge on so many things, especially on areas of expertise that we have. And I was wondering, like, if this goes even further, like, what am I even here for? Like, can like an AI model even replace a CEO? That was like my initial reaction to the way the market is growing. Now I find a lot more strength in leveraging all that knowledge for making decisions and creating systems. And one of the most things that I'm excited about is like killing the soul-crushing tasks that were making me a miserable employee, and allowing people to focus on the type of things that they get joy out of and that energize them. And I think that's a beautiful development, but in the short term, it's going to be a lot of chaos because people are doing things just for the sake of doing, so they're going to resist in bringing AI to their work because of it. And also organizations are going to get smaller, much smaller than they are right now. So there will be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of change and a lot of movement around how we will navigate this. For me, it's exciting to start getting people to do the type of stuff that they love and have AI delegate the rest. And I'm also excited about companies getting smaller because that will create more opportunities. A lot more people will create companies. There will be smaller teams that will feel that they have bigger impact. So net is positive, but short term is going to be very chaotic.
There's a lot of routes that I want to go down with that, but one of them that you mentioned was actually really interesting in terms of smaller companies, and then less people need to you need to hire like less people so that you can do these tedious tasks, even some of the tasks that you found pretty soul crushing back in your days. Are you excited or optimistic for like the 1-man or 2-man army of entrepreneurs that are coming ahead? Or what are your
I'm super excited because I have 2 little kids. They're 6 and 4 for now, and they already want to be Minecraft influencers. And I could see that AI can help them do so much around the type of thing that bring them joy. And life is short. If we spend it in a desk where we hate our jobs, it makes absolutely no sense. So everybody kind of taking ownership over their destiny is something that's thrilling to me.
I'm actually curious what a Minecraft influencer is.
I keep asking them that too, and they say, mommy, I just put my face with a Minecraft while I'm playing and I put it on YouTube. That's what they tell me.
Gotcha. So that's definitely going to be one career opportunity to look down.
Yes.
And even considering the tedious tasks and the repetition, I wanted your take on this because I've interviewed a few people and I've heard different thoughts that there's a lot of people who are against using AI for many things, but a lot of people who are excited and really excited for the future of AI. But they always think that the human aspect is something that's never going to be replaced. Do you agree with that? And what exactly does the human aspect mean to you if you do agree with it?
I share the sentiment that whenever AI is used to represent a human, meaning let's say that I create an avatar of myself and that avatar talks about some topic of any kind. If it's an AI avatar, it should be labeled as one so that we understand the reasons behind it and I understand why that has been created. So for instance, I can see myself creating some of those videos where maybe I explain something in my product or something that would take me forever to record because I would have to do the gazillion triple takes on it. But I would label it and say, hey, this was generated by Alina, AI avatar, it's not me. I only did it because of these reasons and mention that up front. And I hope that the industry is going to get better at that kind of advance notice that's what's being used AI for. And at the same time, I noticed that for now, at least the LLMs models are very good at knowledge, very good at distilling knowledge from books and the internet and getting back to answers. Yet it's missing a couple of things. It's missing the ability to have a long context window, so it can't do complex things for now. And it's also missing the wisdom that comes from getting a lot more details than just the knowledge piece. And what I'm talking about is the emotional states of emotional state of human as well. Because let's say that you have an amazing strategy plan that ChatGPT has created and your company should follow, but if no one in the company gets behind that, it's not going to get executed, right? So the emotional states of humans is an important part that AI can't read. So the wisdom of understanding humans beyond just what's going on in their heads, but also with their other senses is something that's going to continue to remain human for a very long time.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I think that even the final sale, or at least how do you see it in Chili Piper too? Because the final sale, you can have all the logic, everything laid out there, but at the end, the final contract is signed between two people, and that's something that might be a little bit difficult to replicate with having this final contract signed by AI.
There's a lot of nuance. I think there's a lot of nuance there. There are a lot of people that still buy, for instance, in B2C, they buy products from AI and in chat or having conversation with a bot. And I think even in other industry, this will remain true as long as there's a smaller dollar amount that they have to shell. The difficulty comes from buying from bots when there's a buying group. When there's a group of people that have to make a decision, then it's a lot harder for the AI to understand the dynamics of the group and move to the sales process of that. And if you have a product that sells as a PLG, you can use a lot of AI to help people on board and make the most out of it. So there's a lot of strength there. Again, provided that it's disclaimer, this is an AI avatar that's helping you, an AI CS or whatever it is. And there's a limit to how much that avatar and that AI bot can help. It has a lot more knowledge than a human because our brain capacity is a lot smaller. yet it can understand complexities around dynamics of the group, emotional bias, and all those things that the expert sellers are getting a lot better at. And one thing that excites me about that is that it differentiate. Now you get a lot of differentiation between salespeople who just do things for a living, just so that they can pay the bills, and then there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's a lot harder to bring yourself to work if you don't have passion for it, and do that truly enjoy to have a transformation happen for their customers. So that's what I mean by that. There's going to be a short-term shift, but long-term people will work a lot more on the type of things that they're excited about.
You mentioned too the fact of passion that like drives you to work, and even that clearly drives your LinkedIn posts as well. And one of the posts, I don't see you writing any LinkedIn posts with AI in the near future. They feel like they're very raw and they're very from you. Do you ever feel like LinkedIn could help with that?
Do you mind repeating the question? It broke off.
No worries. If you ever find that LinkedIn could help with creating that AI could ever help create your LinkedIn posts, or if it's going to be 100% you, authentic, now and in the future with creating this post for them.
So I have a lot of conversations with ChatGPT and other models as well. It helps me a lot in clarifying my own thoughts and my own learnings and distilling down to and observing nuances that I might not observe. So it's kind of part of my thought process, but it's not the writer of my post because it doesn't have my lived experience. It doesn't go through the struggles that I go through, and it cannot predict my the type of things that I want to talk about. But it's a good guide for me to refine my thinking and my thoughts. That's at least how I've been using it so far.
Yeah. So it's like an outlining assistant than actually delivering.
It doesn't do outline for me. I have like a lot of different areas of interest right now, and any kind of interest that I have, I ask a lot of questions and it refines my thinking. The notes are still mine and I write them in the evening around 9 p.m. after I put my kids to sleep, and in the morning I just pick which one of the drafts that I've already created I will push through. So it doesn't give me outlines, it doesn't give me posts, it just gives me a triple check on my understanding and my learnings. It's like, this is what I'm thinking, what am I not thinking about, what am I missing when I'm learning this and that.
Yeah. So maybe more so as an assistant, would be fair to say?
I would say like a coach, like it's coaching me to go through the right direction.
Or a coach. But yeah, I think that's another human aspect that's like really not going to be replaced by AI. And have you also been seeing a lot more AI posts and a lot more AI comments is what I've been seeing so much more lately on LinkedIn? How do you feel?
Oh my gosh, so many of them. I actually posted about how I'm excited that everybody's using AI to write because everything is going to start reading the same and everything is going to sound so perfect. Oh, look at me, I've done this great thing today. And people will tune off to that kind of perfect posturing of who we are. The reality is that it's always messy and we're always messy. And once the market is saturated with those perfect posts, the ones that are going to break through are the ones who will keep their humanity present.
That's really insightful. I want to end with two last questions. One of them I asked a little bit earlier, which was if any advice that you would give to your younger self. But the other one that I wanted to ask too was any advice, and it might lay over to your younger self, but any advice that you would give to an entrepreneur who's just thinking of starting their business, especially in the realm of AI. But if someone's starting their business in 2025, SaaS business, what piece of advice would you give them?
Do it. Just do it. It's a fun puzzle. It's a really fun puzzle. If nothing comes out of it, you'll learn a lot.
Yeah. And is there, because we've heard this too in chats before, is there any point too when you think it's like, yeah, I have to keep going, I have to keep going with this idea? And where's the line of like, okay, maybe I need to readjust? How do you determine that with yourself?
When you no longer feel the joy. When you no longer feel the joy. In my case, I was lucky. I had a couple of moments where I no longer felt the joy, but I was very self-aware of it and I caught it. And in those moments, I had a very good support system around me to help me understand why I was no longer feeling the joy and why it was sucking the energy out of me instead of giving me energy. And kind of that support system is extremely critical because if you find yourself out of joy, maybe you can get back to joy. So if you have people that know you around and can give you back that energy, then you can get back. Otherwise, it's really, really, really difficult. That's one of the main reasons why right now I'm so focused on community. I organize a lot of dinners and lunches and breakfast with people just like me, woman founder and many CEOs and CEOs of Series C and LinkedIn creators, because it helps me get that support when I need it.
Yeah. I saw one of the posts you put with Adam Robbins. A little bit of a good time.
Yes.
But yeah, so just wrapping it up, and the last question that I had was kind of a very broad question, but I wanted to hear your take. In your opinion, what do you think is going to be the future in the next 5, 10, 20 years of the use of AI and of the use of, and also included entrepreneurship?
Oh my gosh, I'm reading so many books on this and I'm listening to so many people that are more advanced than me on the topic, and the consensus from people like Sam Altman and everybody else is that it's impossible to predict. It's really impossible. And that kind of uncertainty in what's coming next is new for us humans because we've always had at least some progressive change, whereas AI is progressing so fast that truly it's impossible to predict. So the skills that I am searching myself to develop and my kids and for our employees is resilience and adaptability, because those are going to be the moats in a world that's extremely unpredictable.
Well, thank you so much for that, Alina. And so yes, this is our live with Alina Vandenberghe, the CEO, co-CEO and co-founder of Chili Piper. And is there any place that people can find you or any handles that you want to leave, Alina?
So I'm not very active on Instagram. I only have my profile open for a few friends, but I do post a lot on LinkedIn. And as of a few weeks ago, I started to post more frequently on TikTok as well, but I'm still learning and I don't want anybody to follow me there because I look like crap and I talk nonsense. So I'm not comfortable on that channel yet. LinkedIn is my main one.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I really appreciate your time and congratulations on everything that you've built, you and your husband and Chili Piper. And thanks again.
Thank you, Jordan, for inviting me, and I hope that your audience, if they have any questions, they can reach out in my comments. I'm always fast to respond. I'm a fast typer, even though I spend only 30 minutes a day.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alina.
Thank you.